Drugs. See y'all go in the park. System overload.
Testing, testing. Is this thing on?
I done did a lot of drugs in my day, yeah I said it, but I'm still gonna kick your ass. Gustafsson, I hope you ready. When I got into the crash, I ain't know the bitch was pregnant, but they treat me like a murderer, so motherfucker critic. Bitch, I'm ready to fight, and we can fight till the death. I'll hit your ass with the right, then with the right and the left, then kick you right in the chest, and have you fighting for breath. And then I'll turn the pressure up when you would try to get rest, leave you no time to adjust. Daniel, I'm coming for the title, so quit hiding your necks, because I'm right at your neck. Yeah, you can try and fight Lesnar, but when you fight him, what's next? That's right, I'm the best. At UFC 232, I'll get my title instead.
What is going on, full-time family? It's time to start the show. We are going to be talking about UFC 232, Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson, and Cyborg versus Crayonch versus Amanda Nunes. We're going to be looking at that fight card, talking about some of those fights. We also got on that card Ilia Latifi, Corey Anderson, Carlos Condit, Michael Chiesa making his welterweight debut, Chad Money Mendez taking on Alexander Volkanovski. Some good fights we got coming up. Not this weekend, but the weekend after that. And we got a women's GOAT fight coming up. Not Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg. That's a GOAT fight too. We got two women's GOAT fights coming up. Because the future GOAT, Kayla Harrison, is going to be fighting at PFL on December 31st. So we're going to talk about that fight as well. Oh, we might not talk about the fight, but we are going to be talking a little Kayla Harrison. Got some things to talk about, including a potential fantasy matchup between Anderson Silva and Conor McGregor. Yo, like, I know it might sound wild, but I really, really want to see that fight. McGregor versus Silva. I really want to see that fight. I don't know if we'll ever see it, but hey, fuck it. Maybe Conor wants to go up to middleweight for a good one. You know what I'm saying? Probably someone he always wanted to fight. He ain't got to worry about him trying to lay on him, and you know what I'm saying? The age kind of offsets the weight. Like, it's still a good fight. Like, of course, prime Silva versus prime McGregor would have been epic, but I'm saying, like, right now it's a good fight. I would love to see Silva versus McGregor. I'm not going to lie. And Anderson Silva is DTF. He's down to fight McGregor. But let's pull up the chat. Full-time family. We got Leon Dubbison in the building. Lolita David, it's Jay Skills. Salute Leon Dubbison. What's going on, everybody? Jay Skills, Wolf Martin. We got the coach in the house. What's going on, Coach CSAC Combat Sports? And make sure you guys go subscribe to the coach. Thanks for stopping through. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't yet. It'd be much appreciated. All right, guys. We're going to talk about UFC 232 first. Yeah, we'll talk about, just look over UFC 232, talk about these fights, just the main card for now. I mean, we'll look at who's on the prelims, but we're not going to break them all the way down. We got Uriah Hall. We got Curtis Millender versus Sierra Bahadurzada. Montel Jackson versus Brian Boom Kelleher. Andre Ewell, he just defeated Renan Barão, taking on Nathaniel Wood. We got some good fights on this card. I like every one of those fights we just looked at. I like those fights. BJ Penn versus Ryan Hall. Can BJ Penn get a win? We need to see BJ win out here. No, I mean, it's been a minute, and this is a matchup. Ryan Hall, he's got some really dangerous jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, that's why I like this fight for BJ Penn, because even if he doesn't win, he's probably not going to get battered like he did potentially, like versus Yair Rodriguez. So I just really want to see BJ Penn get a win, low-key. But we'll see if he can do it going against Ryan Hall. BJ Penn, though, he's always down to fight. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Peter Yan. That's going to be a good one. Kat Zingano versus Megan Anderson. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Kat Zingano stepping up to featherweight to take on Megan Anderson. And honestly, let's say Kat Zingano wins, and well, actually, we can't say that because I don't think Amanda Nunes has much of a chance. I was gonna say, but like, could you imagine, like, if Kat Zingano won and Amanda Nunes? There's no way she wins, but I'm just saying that would be wild. Amanda Nunes versus Kat Zingano at featherweight. That's not gonna happen. But what do you guys think about a potential? And Kat Zingano, she could very well win this fight. I mean, yeah, she's going up to featherweight, but Megan Anderson, we saw Holly Holm take her to school as far as grappling is concerned, and Kat Zingano could really put together, she's for sure going to be the better grappler in this fight. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she was able to pull off this win at featherweight by any means. And what if Kat Zingano wins this fight and Cyborg wins? Cyborg versus Zingano? Yo, that's something that could happen. Megan Anderson, if she wins, do you think she'll fight Cyborg? She would be in line. Or would she still duck that fade? What you think, Coach? You think if Megan wins and Cyborg wins, she's going to find a way to duck the fade? Or is she going to have to step in there with Cyborg, man? Be the number one contender potentially after that fight at featherweight. Kim Jong Uzi says, what's the Jones news? Big deal or not? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going to look at, we'll get to that now. Andre Arlovsky, Walt Harris. But yeah, let's talk about some news, and then we'll come back and talk about the main card for UFC 232, the Jon Jones news. Jon Jones' team declined the California State Athletic Commission's proposal to enroll in VADA. Now, this doesn't mean he's not reinstated. He can still fight. This was a suggestion at his hearing when they cleared him to fight. They did say, now, people, even when you get cleared to fight here, there's going to be people that don't believe you're innocent. There's going to be people that still question your legacy because you've had multiple failed drug tests. So there's going to be people that question your legacy. And they proposed, they said, one of the ways, if you want people to not question your legacy, if you want to help get your legacy back, then we suggest you enroll in VADA, because USADA works with the UFC. So people are going to question that, because they're hired by the UFC. So people are still going to question your legacy if you're just going under USADA. So they're like, if you go enroll in VADA, that'll be like pretty much double the testing because you're going to be in USADA and VADA. But they're saying since VADA isn't hired by the UFC, that will silence a lot of the critics and doubters, because you can't question VADA and Jon Jones because VADA has no. They're not hired by the UFC. So it's just like they were recommending him enroll in VADA. They didn't say you have to. You're still going to be able to fight. But they say if you want to help restore your legacy, potentially, this is something we suggest. And his team is declining. They're declining and they've got their reasons. But pretty much what I'm getting from this is Jon Jones, and I ain't mad at him. Fuck the critics. Even if Jon Jones enrolls in VADA and passes all his VADA and USADA test, that's not going to stop all the critics. That's not going to make everybody believe it. I mean, you see people get cleared by USADA. You see people that never failed drug test, and they still get questioned by critics and doubters. Jon Jones is always going to have doubters and critics, even if he rolls in VADA. Yes, it would help the argument in the case, but there's still going to be critics. So pretty much Jon Jones' team, in my mind, is like, fuck the critics. Why go through this extra step and when people are still going to talk? Who gives a fuck? We're back. We're fighting. If we win and we're passing our test, we'll get our legacy back that way. If we come back, pass all our USADA tests, and I fucking knock out Gustafsson and then I knock out Cormier again, fuck a critic. But this is what they're actually saying. I said it's complicated. To say refused is the wrong word. There were issues with the proposal. We asked questions and were unable to fully resolve it. He says it was always an optional thing anyway. This was to help Mr. Jones out. Like I said, it was optional. It was optional to pretty much help if you want to look better. It wasn't a mandatory. They didn't say, hey, you got to go through 3 months of VADA testing or you can't fight. They were just suggesting it. So it wasn't. It was optional. It was never mandatory. This was to help Mr. Jones out. Obviously, we don't have any problem with USADA's analytical findings at this time for mixed martial arts. This entire case was brought about due to an analytical finding from a USADA test. We wish Mr. Jones success. That's pretty much all it is. So this is the actual lady, her statement that she was saying, when she recommended it. She was saying, this was, her name was, I think, Martha Shingariguez. This was the one who recommended it. She said, I know you said that you're happy USADA has established that you didn't do this intentionally in your last test and all of that, but you and I both know there's a large number of people who still have some doubts, right? So that's the critics. You and I both know there's still a lot of people who are going to have their doubts. There's still going to be a lot of people who don't believe you. So if you want people to believe you, we suggest VADA. And honestly, even if you went through VADA, there's going to be people that have their doubts. There's always going to be people that have their doubts with multiple failed drug tests. It doesn't matter if you go through VADA. It doesn't matter if you go through USADA. They might say, okay, he cleaned his act up. Maybe that'll help, but there's still going to be people who have their doubts. She said they're out there, and it's not just a little bit of doubt. There are people who have serious doubt over this. So I, for one, would like to put the doubts to sleep and put them away once and for all, and for people to believe you, that you are talented and that you are the greatest and that you can win a fight just as clean and that this is Jon Jones, and to put those doubts away once and for all. So I have an idea, and I'm just going to put it out there and see if you'll agree to it. If you like it, take it. If you don't, send it right back. It sounds like they're sending it right back. So yeah, she just suggested to silence some of the doubters. And like I said, that probably still wouldn't happen. If Jon Jones enrolled in VADA, there would be people that are like, oh, no, fuck that. Like, you can pay them. There's always going to be wild doubters and haters when it comes to Jon Jones. So, but it does, you know, in the court of public opinion, now the doubters are going to use this as fuel. Like, oh, look, he didn't want to do VADA. I fucking, you know what I'm saying? So now, you know, you can do this to help silence some doubters, but when you decline this, now it brings probably more doubters. Like, oh shit, why didn't Jon Jones want to enroll in VADA? Why don't Jon Jones want to do extra drug testing, huh? If you're clean, what is it? It's just another knock at the door? You motherfuckers don't realize how invasive USADA already is. You already got USADA that can knock on your door at any fucking hour, anywhere you're at, any city, any state, any country. USADA will find your ass any time of night, 4 in the morning, even if you're asleep. Kids might have fucking school in the morning. USADA will knock and they will test you. So now on top of all of that strict ass USADA, you want me to what? Meet with VADA 2 times a day? Like, or what? Like, now you already got a lot of shit you're dealing with, already got to train. Like, also, it would probably be to what? Potentially silence some doubters and they're still going to be out there? I mean, honestly, I get why Jon Jones' team would decline this. It's like, for what? I get it. You guys think it's going to silence the doubters, but trust me. People still pretend like I knew there was a pregnant lady driving that car when I got in the crash. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's always going to be Jon Jones doubters and haters. So VADA, I don't really think that would have helped enough to go through the headache of having to already. Now I got to go through USADA and VADA and fucking train for my fight and fucking do. So yeah, J Skill says nothing will silence all the doubters and haters. I completely agree. Yeah, and then that's just another group. And then on top of that, like with tainted supplements and shit, like, oh, well, what if VADA, like completely clean? What if now VADA finds a fucking trace? Like, that's just more tests that could potentially go wrong. Innocent fighters are getting found guilty. That's just another potential. This shit's happening a lot. Innocent fighters are getting found fucking guilty. They're getting flagged, dog. They just changed it to where they're not going to flag you publicly, but innocent fighters, their contaminated supplements are real. And so that's just another potential test where another potential supplement, it could be a trace element the size of a grain of salt in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. But now VADA's going to fucking flag me. And why? It wasn't even mandatory? Fuck that. Fuck the headache. I got a fight to train for, and I got USADA. If I'm passing my USADA test, I'm good on this. If it's mandatory, okay. I'm clean. If it's mandatory, okay. I'm not gonna do it just to try and silence all the doubters, because I don't think it's gonna happen. So yeah, that's the Jon Jones news. Nothing crazy. His fight's still on. He's still cleared to fight. He's just declining, you know, the suggested VADA testing, but it wasn't mandatory. So now, with that being said, Jon Jones taking a little bit of shots, baya, at motherfucking the double champ DC. Not the champ Conor McGregor. He's saying he's taking shots at the double champ. And honestly, I think we got to give double champ to Daniel Cormier. Because DC, I mean, stands for what? Double cheeseburger or double champ? Double champ sounds way better, especially when you are the double champ. That's DC. Conor McGregor coined champ. That's the champ. We can have them separate. But Jon Jones is saying McGregor, not Daniel Cormier, was an actual double champ. This is going to be interesting. He said, my deal's this. I never once said he didn't win the fight. I've never said that. Even when people would tell me, no, you didn't get your fair shake. It's cool because he cheated. I said the guy won the fights. That was Daniel Cormier. Because I've said I'm sure he's not the only guy I've ever fought on steroids. I've always said that. I've been very open about that. But when you say a pinch of salt, why was the pinch of salt there? Why? Good question. He said, why was it there with no explanation of why it got there? And that's where tainted supplements come into play. Like, because when they were making my fucking protein shakes, they used the same spoon from when they were making Brock Lesnar's protein shakes. They forgot to wash the spoon. So now I got a pinch of salt in my shake, and now I'm testing for the shit Brock Lesnar's on. Wash your fucking spoons. Okay. He said, Why didn't I have a pinch of salt in the swimming pool? That's where my issue is. When you win a fight, go ahead and win the fight, but don't leave anything to question is my response. Don't have a pinch of salt. Don't have tainted sex pills. Just don't do that stuff, and then we never have these discussions to discredit. And the things that you have done, that's my response. Now, that was Daniel Cormier, who wasn't blaming steroids for the loss, but he was just saying, where the fuck is that pinch of salt coming from? And I hear where he's coming. That does make sense. I mean, a lot of fighters don't pop for tainted supplements, and they don't have these pinch of salt problems. And that's where the doubt comes from, because some people are like, well, how come all these fighters never have tainted supplements, but you guys are having these pinch of salt problems? It doesn't happen to everybody. And so that's where the doubt comes from. But that is a realistic explanation if you think about where some of these tainted supplements come. There are some innocent fighters. So Jon Jones said on Twitter, pinch of salt, no pinch of salt. You still had steroids in your system in a fist fight, Cormier slated. Not cool. He said, Daddy's baby's still out here whining. What proud double champion just vacates his belt because someone else returns to the sport? Yo, he's saying DC's just vacating his light heavyweight belt because he's back. Oh, shit. Jon Jones thinks DC's ducking the fade. He said, fight me one more time and prove you're actually the champ. I'll donate $100,000 to a charity in San Diego if you accept. Ooh, putting pressure on him. Conor McGregor was an actual double champ. The whole world knows your claim is a freaking joke. You're more than welcome to be my first title defense. Yo, Jon Jones coming with the heat. And I hear what he's saying, but the difference, though, like, Jon Jones and Conor McGregor, they're always, for one, they're not teammates or nothing like that, but if you think about it, Jon Jones and Conor McGregor are a lot more alike than, say, Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones or anyone else. And also, just think about this. Think about who Daniel Cormier's teammate is. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Think about that. Daniel Cormier and Khabib are teammates. So anytime Jon Jones says something about Conor McGregor that's good, it's not taking a shot at Daniel Cormier, but when you're kind of taking McGregor's side, because and clearly Daniel Cormier's on Khabib's side. So it's kind of, and this Jon Jones, he's, like in the interview he did recently, he talked about Conor McGregor. He praises Conor McGregor. I don't think he could just be smarter. He could be that fucking tactical. I don't think he does it to piss DC off. But even if he kind of says something like, yo, Conor McGregor's the true champ, that might piss Khabib off, right? Not piss him off, make him mad, but might rile some feathers, aka, I don't know. It's just interesting because they're such big rivals. And so when Jon Jones props up Conor McGregor, because I say that because I was going to say, if you think about it, Daniel Cormier is actually a more legitimate double champ than Conor McGregor. As far as they both won 2 belts, right? But DC had a lot more success at both divisions. Only person to ever beat him at light heavyweight was Jon Jones, who failed the drug test. At heavyweight, he's never lost. And oh, by the way, he defended his heavyweight belt. He's defended the light heavyweight belt. He defended the heavyweight belt when he fought Derek Lewis. He's actually defended it. Conor, he didn't defend the featherweight belt, and when he went up, he only fought one lightweight to win the belt. He only fought Eddie Alvarez, never defended the belt. So it's not like he had reigning success at lightweight. So honestly, whether or not Jon Jones beat DC, I still think he's a more legitimate double champ. On top of the fucking initials, DC, come on. So, Jon Jones, I hear what he's saying, but I disagree when he says Conor was the actual double champ. If you're saying, he says the whole world knows your claim is a freaking joke. I disagree. I think Daniel Cormier's got a legitimate claim, and he might be the most legitimate double champion of all. I mean, there's 2 of them, right? So we'll see. But it is interesting. Jon Jones says that DC he says, taking shot. Yo, we got to see this fight again. I hope it happens at heavyweight, man. But it seems all signs have kind of been pointing toward these guys rematching at light heavyweight, which I really hope doesn't happen. I hope it happens at heavyweight. It just would be so much better. Jon Jones says, Daddy's baby still out there whining. What proud double champ just vacates his belt because someone else returns to the sport? I don't think that's why he vacated his belt. But it is interesting when Jon Jones puts it that way, you know. Daniel Cormier did say he was, now, to Jon Jones's point, Daniel Cormier did say he was willing to defend his light heavyweight title. He was gonna. He said, "Yo, Corey Anderson and Latifi were calling him out." He said, "I'll fight you. Set it up with the UFC." Jon Jones is back, and we ain't got a main event for. Well, DC actually did fight. He fought at heavyweight, you know, for Madison Square Garden. Put that fight together on short notice. So, if Jon Jones was ready, honestly, he should have fought Daniel Cormier at UFC when we needed a main event for Madison Square Garden. Actually, I believe Jon Jones wasn't ready. Because Daniel Cormier fought on short notice against Derrick Lewis. So clearly, he was willing to main event at Madison Square Garden. Do you think DC would have been like, oh, if I got to defend my light heavyweight against Jon Jones, I ain't even going to fight on the card? I don't know if that's the case. He already said he was willing to defend his light heavyweight belt. And if he would have been able to defend it at UFC 232, then that would have, well, maybe he wouldn't have been able to make the weight. He might not have been able to make light heavyweight on short notice at UFC, what was it, 229? Or at Madison Square Garden when they needed a main event. And Sarge Eubanks versus Valentina was almost the main event. We had Derrick Lewis versus Daniel Cormier. But yeah, he might not have been able to make light heavyweight on short notice there. But now, since he did defend his heavyweight title, and he's potentially going to be fighting Brock Lesnar, that's one thing. If he fights Jon Jones, you know, Jon Jones is fighting Gustafsson at UFC 232. If Daniel Cormier was like, fuck it, I'll fight him at light heavyweight, he would have had time to fight, you know, if he's not injured, you know, he could have fought at 232 against Jon Jones, but that would have been risking his Brock Lesnar fight. He's already got a date with Brock Lesnar that he's looking forward to. So, he'll probably fight Jon Jones, but he probably don't want to do it before. You know? He probably don't want to fight Jon Jones before Brock Lesnar. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Jon Jones taking some shots on Twitter at Daniel Cormier's claim to double champ. He believes McGregor's the actual double champ. Now McGregor's not any champ. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Cormier is still undefeated at heavyweight. So, there's that. All right, moving on. Staying a little bit off, sticking to, you know, one of the same subjects from the last topic. You know, he talked about McGregor a little bit, but Conor McGregor came out and he's hinting at a Notorious sequel. And, yo, this is going to mix into our next topic. We're going to be talking about Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor. Yo, if you're going to make a sequel, this is what I got to say. Do not make it until after the Anderson Silva fight. This is what I need to see. I want to see it in a movie. Anderson Silva, I mean, I'm sure he's been, I mean, I know he's been in movies, but I'm talking about, I want to see this fight. And I feel like that would almost be like a real life, like Rocky movie or something, like Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor. Just feels like some fantasy fight that would be in like a movie. So, I mean, if we're going to be making a Notorious sequel, fuck it. Let's book that fight and throw that on there. Conor McGregor replied to a fan on Twitter. The fan said, I did not want to be a Conor McGregor fan, but I finally watched Notorious on Netflix, and goddamn it, McGregor totally sucked me in. Plus, dude walks out to the foggy dew. I just can't hate anymore. He said, thank you. Now wait until you see the sequel at McGregor Film. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. You know, the beginning of the movie, let's see, he ended the last one at the Diaz fight, I believe. The Diaz rematch, I think. And this one's going to have probably there was a little Mayweather in there. But this is going to have the Khabib loss, probably going to start off at a low point, like, got fucking smoked by Khabib, the brawl. Oh, shit, dude, you know that's going to be in the sequel, the brawl. Fucking, and then whatever fights he has from here, whether it be Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, fucking Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. I mean, whoever. It's gonna be in a movie. Oh, it was already Red Panty Night when you fight Conor McGregor. Now you're gonna be in a motherfucking Notorious sequel when you fight Conor McGregor. But hell yeah, man, I'll watch it. I watched it on Netflix. That Notorious movie, it was really good. So I make whiskey and I make movies. You know, there's another hint. I make whiskey and I make movies. Oh shit. Probably gonna be off the proper 12. That's gonna be all throughout the movie. Yo, Conor ain't fucking around. J Skill says, no, fam, McGregor versus DS3 before McGregor versus Declining Silva. No, I need to see McGregor versus Declining Silva. That's the best. I think that's, no, it wasn't light heavyweight. It was heavyweight full time. Yeah, you talking about Lewis DC wasn't the real champ. He never clearly won the belt, though, at the same time. I mean, I disagree because he was the champion. Now, his only not claim to light heavyweight was that he lost to Jon Jones, but he beat everybody else. He's beat Gustafsson, he beat Ozdemir, he beat everybody else at light heavyweight. If Jon Jones is gone because he failed a drug test or he's suspended or whatever the fuck, whoever's fighting for the title, they're winning the belt. They're the champion, especially if you're defending it. So when Jon Jones fails a drug test and you get your belt back, you're the champion. And you've already... It's not like that's how he got the belt and he never fought at the weight class before. Daniel Cormier had already been the champion. He had already defended the belt. He had won the belt. He had beat Rumble Johnson twice. He beat Gustafsson. He's beat all the best light heavyweights in the world. And so Daniel Cormier is a legitimate champion. He's a legitimate light heavyweight champion regardless of the Jon Jones result. Because the only time he lost to Jon Jones was before USADA, because the one after USADA was overturned. So the only claim anyone has to that light heavyweight belt is Jon Jones. And yeah, he's one of the greatest light heavyweight, probably the greatest light heavyweight of all time, depending on how you feel about the drug test situation, depending on how he comes and looks back after he's now re-enrolled in USADA. Hopefully he doesn't fail any tests. But DC is definitely and was definitely a legitimate light heavyweight champion, regardless of the losses to Jon Jones, because he beat everybody else. It's not like he never defended the title. It was just a guy who failed a drug test that beat him. That's the only thing. So he was for sure a legitimate champion. But yeah, moving on from that, and Conor McGregor hinting at the sequel. Anderson Silva says he has just 3 fights left and he wants one to be against McGregor, and I ain't mad at it. And like you said, declining Silva, I think that makes the fight even better right now. Is he declining? Yeah, but that's what it's going to have to be. Could you imagine a prime Anderson Silva at middleweight versus Conor McGregor? Like, McGregor has a little bit of a chance, but I don't see... I would rather see it now than then. Because if it's a prime middleweight Anderson Silva, Conor McGregor is going to be a little dude in there. It's going to be hard for him to for sure knock Silva out, get past the that would be a really fucking hard matchup for Conor McGregor, prime Silva. This makes it more even. This gives Conor McGregor the chance. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, declining Silva. Now it's a lightweight, a former featherweight versus a middleweight, but it's an older middleweight, one of the former greatest of all times. I think right now is almost a better time than ever. And that would allow Conor to go up as, fight at middleweight. Then he would have fought at featherweight. Then he would have fought at fucking lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight. Oh, I want to see this fight so fucking much, dog. Mr. Perfect 2005 in the building. Hey, full-time fam, hope everyone's having a great one. Bubba G says, best win Jones has is Daniel Cormier. Smaller, older former champs, close decisions in DC. That's what I'm saying. Daniel Cormier is legitimate light heavyweight champion, regardless of those Jones results. Jay Skill says, McGregor isn't little. He walks around 180. He's little for middleweight. He'd be for sure a little middleweight. He would have to, eat to get up to the weight limit. He would have to, put rocks in his pockets or something, dog. He would have to. It would be hard. So that like, yeah, it's just Anderson Silva. He probably walks around. He walks around at like 200 pounds. 204. You know what I'm saying? He probably walks around like 205 or bigger. I mean, somewhere around there. Like that's a pretty big. You know what I'm saying? And if he was in his prime, dog. I mean, I was a huge fan of Anderson Silva in his prime. I'm sorry, man. Conor ain't got what it takes, and that's just how. Maybe it's because I'm. If you held a gun to my head and said Anderson Silva or Conor McGregor, I'm going Anderson Silva. That's just where my loyalty lies from my days of becoming an MMA fan. That's my motherfucking dog, Anderson Silva. Prime Anderson Silva, I don't know who's fucking with him. I don't know who's fucking with Prime Anderson Silva. You'd have to tell me anybody. I don't know who's fucking with Prime Anderson Silva. I'll tell you that much. I don't know who. And you ain't gonna give me no McGregor. I don't know who's fucking with Prime Anderson Silva, dog. That's my no. But I would love to see this fight now. I mean, makes perfect sense to me. Declining Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor. Middleweight. Conor's down. He'll go up. It's a winnable fight. It's not like, you're asking him to just go take an L. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're asking him to fight the middleweight Robert Whittaker. Could you imagine McGregor versus Whittaker? Yeah, you never count McGregor all the way out. But come on, man. The middleweight champion, prime middleweight champion, that's what I think about when I think of Anderson Silva prime. Like, you're going to put McGregor against the middleweight champ? Might want to try Woodley first. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm feeling. Bubba G says even old Silva isn't being knocked out yet. That's why I love it. I love it. Can Conor do it? Probably not. What Silva got? Yo, I would fucking pay for that fight. Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor. Anderson Silva's on to something here. This is not just some wild calling out a smaller guy. He's on to something here. I need to see this fight. Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor for sure. He said, I have 3 more left and it's done. It's over. At this point in my career, I believe the good challenge is the super fight. I talked to UFC President Dana White about GSP, about McGregor. McGregor especially because McGregor's a challenge. This fight, I just talked to Dana a lot about the fight. It's very interesting to fight this guy because he's an amazing fighter and a legend in the sport. Let's go see. He said, that's a good game, super fights, and it's very interesting for my fans. You motherfucking right. I'm one of them. Oh, you motherfucking right. I'm one of them, dog. Believe 180 is good for me and McGregor, he said, so I just wait. Oh, 180. Oh, he can make it. He said, I'll go to 180. He said, he ain't got to come up to 185. Let's do it at 180. That's where he walks around, huh? Fuck it. Oh, I'm so in, dude. Book this shit. Fuck the division. Fuck all that shit. Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor. I think that's my favorite fight of the year. Like, that's the one I want to see. There's a lot of good fights, but for Silva, that's one of the ones. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if GSP don't want to come back, like, of course I would love Silva versus GSP anytime. But Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor. And, bro, if Conor was willing to go up and fight GSP at 180, Anderson Silva, GSP, bro, you got to do that. Bro, you didn't want to go up and fight Anderson Silva in the past. Now it's declining Silva. He'll meet you at 180. But GSP's going to say some shit like, nah, man, my health, I ain't trying to go up to 180. He's got a good point. He got colitis when he went up to 185. But it's like, fight it 175. Shit. Now, come on. If Conor would go up 30 pounds and fight Silva, GSP ain't got no excuse to not fight him. But yeah, I would love to see Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor, man. I think that's, like, at first thought, you're probably like, what the fuck? Silva versus McGregor? He's getting up. No, that's why this fight's perfect. He's on to something here. Let's move on. Former middleweight, Luke Rockhold announcing he's done with middleweight, bashing his light heavyweight rivals. Luke Rockhold said, I'm just training every day. I'm lifting, so I'm getting stronger. Getting stronger is the recipe. Light heavyweight is the course. I'm coming for these guys, man. I'm just not really impressed with what's going on right now in that division. I'm tired of compromising my body, and I'm a better fighter where I fight naturally and bigger. And I'm long overdue moving up, and I'm done at middleweight. It's time to move up. And then he went on to talk about some of these light heavyweights. Oh shit, guys! But before we get to that, think about this. Daniel Cormier is going to be retiring soon. Think about what's going on at AKA. Doesn't really affect Khabib. But Luke Rockhold is a big middleweight. Could potentially be fighting at light heavyweight. Daniel Cormier is a big light heavyweight. Could potentially be fighting at heavyweight. What's really held these guys back from fighting at the weight class, probably their best weight class potentially? Luke Rockhold, he can't go up and fight his teammate Daniel Cormier, so there's no real reason for him to fight at light heavyweight. Daniel Cormier, he can't fight his teammate Cain Velasquez, and that's why he was at light heavyweight instead of heavyweight. Well, with DC potentially going to be retired soon, because he said he's only got 1, maybe 2 more fights. This is allowing Luke Rockhold to move up to light heavyweight. DC, with Cain Velasquez out, was able to go up to heavyweight. But with DC potentially retiring soon, there's still room for Cain Velasquez to come back at heavyweight. Once DC's done, Cain can still come back, and they ain't got to worry about stepping on each other's toes. And Luke Rockhold will be able to fight at light heavyweight. And what's dope about that is one of the first fights that's coming to my mind, and clearly it wouldn't be the first fight that happens, but could you imagine Luke Rockhold versus Jon Jones in the future? If Luke Rockhold looks good at light heavyweight, his natural weight class, what if he comes in and wins like 2 fights by knockout first round? Luke Rockhold looking like a new fucking monster at light heavyweight? I mean, then, yeah, it's not the same rivalry, but it's a little bit there. Jon Jones versus DC. Now he's fighting one of his fucking best friends and teammates, Rockhold, who's been looking like a killer. There's some good fights for Rockhold at light heavyweight. You've done a lot at middleweight. A lot of shit's happened. The middleweight division's got, you know what I'm saying? I love this move for Luke Rockhold. He says, and now as far as the rest of the light heavyweights, it looks like he's putting them on notice. He said, Anthony Smith, yeah, man. What, Thiago Santos came up just recently, too. These guys, I'm just not impressed. He said, they're a little sloppy in so many ways, and I see openings. I'm ready to move up. I mean, the rest of the division, there's a couple of good guys up there, but I don't see much. I'm ready to come up, and I'm ready to shut it down. Anthony Smith looked like shit. He didn't look good in his last fight. I'm not going to say he looked like a bum. He said, I'm not going to say, oh, he did say, he took it there. He said he looked like a bum, truthfully. So he said Anthony Smith looked like a bum. Thiago Santos, he's not impressed. Damn, Luke, coming to the light heavyweight division with the motherfucking vengeance. He's coming up ready to get one of these top 10 guys. Show people what he can do at light heavyweight. Benji says, I enjoyed watching GSP come back to beat Bisping. That was fun. And that said, no desire to see him come back again. CFR Sports says GSP don't want none. Plastic fork, he done. Time will tell. DC is done. June 2019. Jay Skill says too many fantasy fights. A lot of smoke has to clear before these things come true. Yeah. But man, we got some great. I think we got some great shit on the horizon. Speaking of fantasy fights, let's keep it going. Motherfucking TJ Dillashaw versus Max Holloway, the potential first champ. If TJ Dillashaw can beat Henry Cejudo at 125 pounds, he posted this picture on Twitter, and in the comments, he's hinting at a potential future move to featherweight. Jay Goring, 33, but what the fuck ever this guy's name is, said, a move to 145 ever possible? TJ Dillashaw responded and said, yes, it is, winky face. Winky face. You know what I get from that emoji? Emojis tell you a lot. I understand them. That winky face says it's already in the works, brother. Not only have we talked, not only is it possible, but it's on the motherfucking schedule. If I do what I need to do against Henry Cejudo, I got the science behind me, bro. The training lab's got me where I need to be. If I need to put on muscle, we're going to put it on the right way in the right spots, and the motherfucking we're going to have optimal performance. If I need to move down, we're going to take off the right weight, cut the right weight in the right spots, and we're going to have an optimal TJ Dillashaw at 125 pounds. You telling me I got to eat a couple more steaks with the training lab, bro? I'm going to be the best 145-pound fighter you'll ever fucking see. Could you imagine champ TJ Dillashaw going up to fight Max? It's a good time to be an MMA fan, you guys. Mr. Perfect 2005 says TJ is way too small, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I do not know. He's not. I don't know. You can put. He can bulk up. There's guys that fucking bulk up to heavyweight, bro. Rumble Johnson fought at welterweight in the past. He's fucking looking like a super heavyweight nowadays. He's not a. It's not like he's jumping 20 in the bigger weight classes. You know, 170, 185. That's a 15-pound jump. 185 to 205. That's a 20-pound jump. You got guys like Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos going up 20 pounds. It's nothing for him to go up 10 more pounds. 20 pounds from flyweight, 10 pounds from bantamweight. TJ can do that. Is he going to beat Max Holloway? I don't fucking know. But boy, he can do it. He can fight at featherweight for sure. And when you think about anybody else that has the potential to have 2 belts and fight for a third, it's really only TJ right now. DC can't go up another weight class, and he damn sure ain't cutting down to middleweight. Conor McGregor would have to fight Tyron Woodley, and he don't have the belts anymore, so he'd have to like win his belts back and then fight Woodley if he wanted to be a champ. Or he would have to just fight Woodley to have a belt in 3 weight classes. But TJ has potential to do something nobody's ever done before in the future. And that winky face, maybe it could be in his cards. Who knows? He's much smaller than Holloway, but he is a technician. He is a technician, and also when you're talking about who's probably the better wrestler out the two, it's 100% TJ Dillashaw. Now, Max Holloway's got great wrestling defense, but to be honest, that's somewhere TJ Dillashaw could succeed in that fight as well. Did you see how much bigger Max looked versus Ortega on fight night? Oh, yeah. Max is a big boy. He's a big boy. He's talking about, no, he's a big boy. He will definitely have a size advantage, but I don't think TJ Dillashaw is way too small to fight at featherweight, and styles make fights. But, yeah, no, Max Holloway will probably be the favorite, but I'm just saying TJ Dillashaw for sure has a chance to win, more than a puncher's chance, and it's a legitimate possibility. Now, he could very well go up to featherweight and lose to Max Holloway, but he's got the potential to fight him with 2 belts. If it's, you know, he would have, it would be a tough call. It would be a tough ask to beat Max Holloway, but he could fight him for sure. It's a good style matchup for TJ. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, Max Holloway, he's one of the best featherweights of all time with what he's done, and he's shown it. I mean, we've seen what Jose Aldo was able to do when he fought Frankie Edgar. So there's no real reason to believe if Max Holloway, you know, there's no reason to believe because he hasn't yet fought Frankie Edgar that he wouldn't win. I mean, I would definitely want to see Frankie Edgar versus Max Holloway, but, you know, we really haven't seen how he would do against maybe one of the most elite wrestlers of the division. And TJ Dillashaw is for sure one of the best wrestlers of the smaller weight classes. Like, TJ Dillashaw has wrestling moves that make lifelong wrestlers go, how the fuck did he do that? I listened to the Chael Sonnen podcast. He was like, I literally had to call TJ Dillashaw after his last fight. I've been wrestling for over 20 years, over 30 years, and I had to ask him how he did this takedown. Something he did, like, I had to call TJ and ask him how he did that. This is a lifelong wrestler. TJ Dillashaw's, you know, they're seeing shit in TJ they've never seen before. So I would love to see that fight as well, Dillashaw versus, but a lot would have to happen for a lot of these fights. You know, he would have to beat Cejudo if he wanted to, and he wouldn't have to beat Cejudo to fight Max Holloway, but if he wanted to potentially become one of the first champs, he would for sure have to beat Cejudo. Valentina Shevchenko making her pick for Cris Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes. This fight's going on UFC 232, co-main event to Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson 2. We're going to have Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes. And Valentina Shevchenko, she's making her pick. And she was recently training with Cris Cyborg. If you checked out Coach's channel, you probably know that they trained a little bit together. And, I mean, that's iron sharpening iron right there. The two greatest female fighters on the planet. That's the two. I mean, Amanda Nunes is up there. She's probably in third, but those are the two greatest pound-for-pound fighters on the planet, Cris Cyborg and Valentina Shevchenko. They've been training together recently, and so, you know, as you could imagine, Valentina Shevchenko she's picking Cris Cyborg to win. But, I mean, I don't think that's really, you know what I'm saying? That's not a bold prediction. Like, who's not picking Cris to win? Shoot, Amanda Nunes, Nina Ansaroff might be picking Cris to win this fight. I don't know. I don't see many people. You know, Nunes, she's dangerous. And I honestly think she's going to be the best fighter Cris Cyborg has fought to date. Even though she's a bantamweight, there just hasn't been a lot of competition out there. Tough competition for Cris Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? Because there hasn't been the division. So she's just been fighting bantamweights. And the bantamweights that she's been happened to fight aren't the bantamweight champions. You know what I'm saying? So now she's actually going to fight the best bantamweight on the planet. It's not just any bantamweight. So it's going to be a step up in competition. And so, yeah, I think Amanda Nunes can surprise a lot of people here. She's got the potential, too. She's got the power. Like, Nunes actually could pull off the upset, but I think it's more of a puncher's chance. And you know what I'm saying? With the puncher's chance, I'm going with Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? I think most people probably are. If we started a poll right now and asked who's going to win, unless, you know, people are trolling, then probably everybody's picking Cyborg, I would imagine. Let's see. It says, this is what Shevchenko had to say. Cris has an advantage, and, you know, she's fought Amanda Nunes, and she's trained with Cyborg. So she said, Cris has an advantage in her endurance, a very huge advantage, because she's training like a fanatic. And most important, she's not tiring. Amanda Nunes trains like a fanatic, too. Now, she might gas at the end of the 5th round, but she's training like a fucking fanatic. I'll tell you that. Amanda Nunes, you know, most people, they got highlight reels, and that makes you a fan. Amanda Nunes training videos made me go, that bitch is serious. Watching her train, I was like, yeah, ain't nobody beating her. Just watching her training videos, that's how hard Amanda Nunes trains. So I know she trains like a fanatic as well. You know what I'm saying? So now maybe Cyborg still has a cardio advantage, but it's probably slight. Amanda Nunes won the 5th round. When she fought Valentina Shevchenko, she won the 5th round, and I think that surprised everybody. In the second fight, she actually got the takedown and won that 5th round. So, and that surprised me. So the fact that Amanda Nunes has won a 5th round, her cardio's gotten way better. And she also trains like a fanatic. So I think you can give that nod to both of them. In the morning, she runs marathons, and after the marathons, she comes to training and does her work hitting pads and sparring. She doesn't get tired. I don't get tired. She has the power to move forward, and so in this fight, I will support Cris. And she's the flyweight champion, but she feels like she's also got unfinished business with Amanda Nunes. She says, I still have unfinished business with my opponent at bantamweight, Amanda Nunes. I know exactly. I never lost that fight, and she knows she was not the winner of that fight. And we'll see. We'll see. Nunes still wants that smoke, even though she's lost. I mean, Valentina Shevchenko still wants smoke with Nunes. She said, yeah, you beat me twice, motherfucker, but I feel like I won. That's how Nate Diaz feels. Like, motherfucker, he feels like he beat Conor McGregor twice, actually. Because the second fight, he feels like he won the decision. Did he? I don't think so, man. I was a little disappointed in Nate Diaz in that fight, in the rematch. You know what I'm saying? Just in the fact that Conor McGregor seemed to be tired and he wasn't able to capitalize and take advantage of it and win a decisive victory. So I was fine with the decision going to McGregor in that one. And in this one, I actually had Nunes win in the second fight. I thought she won the 5th round. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really think Amanda Nunes won the second fight, but Valentina Shevchenko, she's not the type of girl to, I don't believe, accept a loss. Like, if she fought, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not a loser. She's a winner. She's one of the greatest fighters of all time. You don't become one of the greatest by being okay with losing. That's not what you're used to. You don't lose in Muay Thai. You don't lose in MMA. You don't lose in training. You don't lose in sparring. You're the best. And so to actually face defeat and not be finished, there's no way I think Valentina Shevchenko would say, yeah, she's the better woman. Because Valentina's too much. She's too good for that. You know, not like she's just one of the best fighters out there. And when you're one of the best, you're not going to admit someone's better. It's just too, not when there's any doubt. If it would have been a finish, she'd probably have to bite the bullet. The fact that it went to decision, she's not going to hold that L. But I actually think Nunes won that second fight. I am him in the building. Jay Skill says Nunes beat Valentina twice. Yes, sir. I think she did. Nunes is here. She's up there in the women's pound for pound. I think Nunes is number 3. Only reason I don't have Nunes above Shevchenko, and honestly, I've got Valentina Shevchenko. And pound for pound, I think Valentina's number 1. I think pound for pound, she's better than Cyborg and Nunes. And I say pound for pound. I'm not saying she can beat up either one of those girls. But she was so successful at bantamweight and also flyweight's her natural weight class. She's a girl that we've seen have success at 2 weight classes. She's like the Daniel Cormier of women's MMA. And she's like undefeated at flyweight. Now she's finally able to fight there, and I don't see anybody beating her there anytime soon. And she beat everybody except for one person at the heavier weight class. So it's reversed in that sense because Daniel Cormier is undefeated at heavyweight, and he beat everybody except for one person at light heavyweight. So Valentina Shevchenko to me is kind of like the Daniel Cormier, pound for pound. Amanda Nunes, we've only seen her have that success at bantamweight. She can't make 125 to our knowledge. That would be wild if she tried and she was able to. But she's going up to featherweight, and yeah, if she beats Cyborg, she jumps the list. She's number 1 P for P. But there's really not a featherweight division also in the sense that for Amanda Nunes, there's not an established featherweight division for Amanda Nunes to beat everyone else. So maybe Valentina wins by default in that sense because the bantamweight division is legit. We know that. Women's bantamweight is legit. Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm, Juliana Pena. We know that division has killers at the top. We know those fighters are legit. So it's very impressive to get those wins at bantamweight, which isn't really the case for featherweight yet. And so that's why I think Valentina Shevchenko is number 1 pound for pound. And Nunes is up there as well because I think Nunes is the bantamweight GOAT. There's no bantamweight fighter on the planet in my mind that's ever been as good as Amanda Nunes. And she shows it when she fights him. When she won the 5th round against Valentina Shevchenko, there's no other bantamweight on the planet that I think has beaten Valentina in a 5-round fight except for Amanda Nunes. You have to be exceptional. You've got to be Amanda Nunes. There's nobody. She outstruck Holly Holm. She outgrappled Juliana Pena. Who can beat Valentina? Fucking nobody. Except Amanda Nunes. And that's how fucking good Amanda Nunes is. And that's why she's going to be Cris Cyborg's toughest opponent to date, I believe. But yeah, Valentina picking Cyborg. Couple more topics. Sticking to women's MMA GOATs. Perfect time to talk about Kayla Harrison. 2020. Kayla Harrison feels more mental strain in MMA than judo, she says. She says, there's no season in judo. I pretty much fought 12 to 15 times a year. I was also competing against multiple girls at every tournament, so it wasn't like you had one person to prepare for. You had to prepare for the entire roster. And she said it's been really interesting mentally because you don't want to fight all the time. It's a lot harder to fight back to back with injuries and opponents, especially for females. And number 2, thinking about one girl for 6 to 8 or 12 weeks straight, I found it a different kind of mental exhaustion. But I'm really enjoying it. Part of the struggle has been allowing the experts to live inside as a beginner in MMA. I'm a beginner in striking. I'm a beginner in wrestling. I'm a beginner in MMA. So I'm trying to finalize that balance and utilize my judo to the best way possible, but also grow as an MMA fighter. Now, I'm telling y'all right now. No, she don't know the fuck she's not. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to what she's saying right there. She is not a beginner. She's not. She's not a fucking beginner. Maybe if you look at her pro record, you say, okay, yeah, she's a beginner. And I know the haters, they love that probably. Oh, she said she's a beginner. You think a beginner can beat Cyborg in 2020? She's a beginner. Bro, she's playing you like a fiddle. This is that Tom Brady, golly gee. Oh, golly gee, I'm just a beginner. I'm just here to be the best that I can be. No. She trained a full year with the American top team. Once you do that, you are no longer a fucking beginner. I'm sorry. No. It's not like she trained for a year with Alabama Martial Arts Academy, AMA. No. She didn't train with fucking Florida Kickboxing and Cardio. No. She didn't train at fucking Fort Lauderdale's Fight Club. No. She trained a full fucking year with American top team with the women's goats, Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Amanda Nunes, and all the fucking studs that are in the American top team roster. Everybody. Killers. Fucking just getting put through the ringer at American top team before she even took her first pro fight. If you watch Kayla Harrison's 2 pro fights so far, Brittany Elkins, Josette Cotton, that wasn't no fucking MMA beginner. Because she wasn't fighting beginners. It's not until after the fight everybody talks shit and says she, still hating. Before, people were saying, oh, man, she's never fought with anybody with no hands. Josette's about to bust her head. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Brittany Elkins had a 3-4 record. Yeah, that's 7 pro fights. Most motherfuckers fight somebody with 0 fights in their debut, right? Like, if I was going to fight my first pro fight, I'm fighting somebody else that's 0-0. We're both 0-0. Then I become 1-0, and I might fight someone that's 1-0. You don't start off fighting somebody with 7 pro fights. Most of the time. Especially if you're a beginner. And then, in your second pro fight, you damn sure don't fight somebody that's 8-2. 10 pro fights. 1-8 of them. Beginners ain't beating Josette Cotton. Y'all ain't gonna play Josette like that for one. Because before the fight, everyone was talking about how Josette's got the hands. And how Kayla Harrison don't want to fight nobody with hands. Then she came in there showing head movement, fucking kicking that leg, punching to the body. Top game on lock. That ain't beginner shit. And if you know anything about Kayla Harrison's motivation to become a 2-time gold medalist, then you know her motivation training at American top team. Bro, I don't give a fuck what Kayla Harrison is saying right here. She's not a beginner, and you buy into that if you want. If you're one of Kayla Harrison's opponents, you buy into that. If you're one of Kayla Harrison's haters, eat that shit up. But I'm telling you right now, Kayla Harrison's motherfucking coming, dog. I'm telling you. She's coming. She said, if you talk to anyone who knows me, they'll tell you I'm a very all-in person. I hate to lose probably more than anything in the world. I get upset if I lose at a game of cards. And that's what it takes to be the best in the world. I was just talking about that earlier. Just last motherfucking segment. When we were talking about Valentina Shevchenko not accepting that L to Nunes. That's because she's one of the best in the world and she hates fucking losing. She don't want to lose at nothing. If you fucking are just racing Valentina, she don't want to lose a fucking race. She don't want to lose nothing. You think she's going to accept that L? Man, that ain't what you do when you're one of the greatest. That's what beginners do. And Kayla Harrison ain't no motherfucking beginner, dog. Alright, guys. With that being said, we got one more topic to talk about, no pun intended, because we're talking about one championship. They announced several big fights, including the debuts of the mighty Demetrious Johnson, one of the greatest fighters of all time. And you're talking about skills. I don't know about pound for pound, man, because my definition of pound for pound is kind of multiple weight classes. Either way, Demetrious Johnson, definitely one of the GOATs. This man pulled off a flying fucking armbar, and for that, I don't want to hear nobody ever talking no shit on Demetrious Johnson, because that shit was wild. But Eddie Alvarez also scheduled for his one debut. It's going to be March 31st, the day after Big Full Time's birthday, March 30th. One's on March 31st is going to host their inaugural event in Japan as they head to Tokyo for a huge show. It says, we're going to be getting 3 massive title fights accompanied by Eddie Alvarez versus Timothy Nasty Yukin. Nasty Yukin! It just sounds like a street fighting move. Nasty Yukin! That fight's going to be nasty. Eddie Alvarez likes to brawl, and you know Timothy Nasty Yukin's getting nasty. Demetrious Johnson versus Yuya, the little piranha, Wakamatsu. What if Demetrious Johnson went over there and lost his first fight? That would be wild. Yo, I'm probably going to be watching this event for sure. Eddie Alvarez and Demetrious Johnson on the same card, that's one of the ones you can't miss. Yeah, we gotta watch that, guys. We'll definitely be doing a fight companion for that. Anyone looking forward to BJ Penn versus Ryan Hall, says Benji? Fuck yeah, I'm looking forward to BJ Penn fighting a winnable fight. That's what I'm looking forward to. My man needs a W. Dude says Jones is guilty. You act like Jones is a victim in all of this. Oh, it's sad that he has doubters and critics. He brought it on himself by failing multiple drug tests. Give me a break. But USADA cleared him. The same people that said he failed those drug tests are the same people that said he was innocent. So, if you're going to use USADA to say he's guilty, then you've got to use USADA to say he's innocent. USADA's the ones that said they had Jon Jones failing the drug test didn't make sense. See, it's really if you like Jon Jones or not, sort of. And I like Jon Jones, and I get the questions, but also, he's got a legit defense. USADA said, if Jon Jones is a doper, it doesn't make sense, because how does he pass all of the random drug tests and then fail the only drug test he knows is coming? How does that make sense? They said if Jon Jones was actually doping, he must be one of the stupidest dopers in the world, because he passes his random test. He knows he's getting tested after the fight, and he fails that one? Well, how does that make sense? USADA said this. They said it didn't make sense. And they also cleared his name when they allowed him to fight as well. They on the dick pill situation, USADA said it was tainted dick pills. They tested it and said it was tainted. So, I get it. I mean, it is, if you're there is reason, like Daniel Cormier said. How come I never have a grain of steroids in my fucking Olympic swimming pool, dog? Why do I never have steroids in my system? I get it. There is legitimate doubt and concern. But at the same time, a lot of people will take Jon Jones failing multiple drug tests, not look at USADA clearing him, and then they'll wrap that into the fucking car crash with the pregnant lady. And what you do is you use all of the bad shit to paint your picture of Jon Jones. When if you just were being even, I guess. No, Jon Jones didn't know she was pregnant. Well, okay, everyone's not going to run from a hit and run, but shit, I know a lot of people are. And you know, that's another topic for another day. But he didn't, when he got in the car crash, it's just weird how people, they tie that into it a lot of times. And a lot of the people who do point out the failed drug test don't look at the fact that it doesn't make sense for him to fail the test he knew was coming. USADA said this themselves. He got cleared by USADA. So, I mean, it is what it is. J Skill says, pinch your salt in a swimming pool full time. It was low-key set up. And, there's people, so there's I get both sides. Now, I don't know if Jon Jones was set up or like it was halfway a joke. Like I said, somebody could have been making Brock Lesnar's protein shake and this is just hypothetically, clearly not, they don't go to the same fucking protein shop, but just hypothetically, Brock Lesnar, who insert somebody that you think is on steroids here, he could have been making their fucking shake. He didn't wash the spoon, and now he's making Jon Jones's. And Jon Jones didn't order no fucking steroids in his shake, but motherfucking homie didn't wash the spoon, and so now he's got a grain of steroids in his fucking shake. And it wasn't intentional. He just wanted to feel good after the fight, drink a protein shake, but a nigga didn't wash the spoon, and so now my shit is contaminated. But I passed all my drug tests leading up to this point. The dick pills makes it look bad. Even though he got cleared for the dick pills, it's not like a situation where he popped for the dick pills and nothing ever came of it. He wasn't proven innocent. He was proven innocent the first time. And so if you take that out of your mind and you just look at these incidents separately, then you can kind of start to see how Jon Jones might be innocent. But at the same time, there's always going to be doubters. And that's why he's denying VADA. Because even if he goes through VADA, like whoever came in here and said Jon Jones is guilty, why are you fucking denying it, making Jon Jones a victim? That motherfucker's never going to believe Jon Jones. Even if he goes through VADA. Even if he went through VADA and USADA and WADA, that guy's going to believe somebody's paying somebody off. Jon Jones is still guilty. Don't matter. That's why he's like, fuck, why am I going to do both of them anyway? I'm just not going to do it. We'll go ahead and decline. Because I'm not ever going to silence all the doubters. People already think I'm guilty no matter what. They think I'm out here targeting pregnant chicks. Like, oh, look, there's a pregnant one. 10 points. 10 points for the pregnant ones. Like he's playing Grand Theft Auto, but worse. Like, TFR Sports' Fabian Edwards has first fight for Bellator March 2019. Yo, salute to Fabian Edwards. Benji says, do you know how much arsenic is in an ounce of dirt? These trace amounts of stuff are ridiculous. Yeah, and if you got just super strict testing, bro, they're actually catching grains the size of salt in your shit. That's why so many people get popped and then they're fucking innocent. I'm surprised it don't happen more often, you know, with how strict this testing is. Rugby Queen says, Jon Jones needs to shut up. Him attacking DC, who is a good family man, has fought clean his whole career, is downright classless. Now, I agree with that. Now, I don't agree with him, the attacks on DC. But it's a lot of the times, that is one of his biggest rivals. But yeah, he crossed the line a couple of times. I'm not saying he's fucking perfect by any means. Clearly, he's not. I'm not saying I'm not a Jon Jones defender by any means. I'm actually Team DC, but I'm just saying when it comes to the USADA situation, I'm just looking at it objectively. I'm not taking what I feel about him personally and factoring that into is he guilty or not. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, yeah. So, but I definitely didn't agree with what Rugby Queen was saying, like when he brought Daniel Cormier's wife into it, even though he didn't like attack his wife, but he was like, when you dream about me and your wife knows it. I don't agree with that, because anytime you bring someone's wife into it, that just opens the door, especially a public figure. You say something about DC's wife, people make a meme out of it, and now she's in the middle of this shit. Like, fuck no, I definitely don't agree with that. But that don't have anything to do with his USADA situation. Leon Dobson says, like you said, full-time, fuck everyone else. People are always going to hate no matter what. On top of the fact he does not do himself any favors in the press conference a lot of time. Yes, sir. And to what you said, Leon Dobson, that's the perfect way to end it. Jon Jones versus Gustafsson, UFC 232. We're probably going to have a lot more shows coming up over the next couple of weeks because my work assignment ended for the next couple of weeks. So I got a lot more time. Also, tonight's going to be the Come Get This Work Mobcast. Make sure you guys check that out on YouTube. I'll probably fuck around and pop up on there too because I don't got work tonight. So probably go over there and talk to the family a little bit. So perfect way to end the show. Jon Jones versus Gustafsson 2. Lucky You remix. Thank you guys for coming through. If you haven't yet, smash that thumbs up button like your middle name is Khabib. Don't be a baby back bagel biting bitch, boy, or girl.
I done did a lot of drugs in my day, yeah I said it, but I'm still gon' kick your ass, Gustafsson, I hope you ready. When I got into the crash, I ain't know the bitch was pregnant, but they treat me like a murderer, so motherfucker critic, bitch I'm ready to fight, and we can fight till the death. I'll hit your ass with the right, then with the right and the left, then kick you right in the chest, and have you fighting for breath, and then I'll turn the pressure up when you would try to get rest, leave you no time to adjust. Daniel, I'm coming for the title, so quit hiding your necks, because I'm right at your neck. Yeah, you can try and fight Lesnar, but when you fight him, what's next? That's right, I'm the best. At UFC 232, I'll get my title and